For this square, we are going to be learning how to do simple, tiny bobbles. A little difficult to see them in the lighting. There we go, you can see them better. All the lines going this way, these are bobbles in between to create the lines. I'm going to show you how to read the pattern before we get started. You'll have a square up here that's going to show you the tools you need, the loom, the yarn, your gauging, all of that, your abbreviations used, your cast on. This is what I want to show you guys right here. You're going to have a couple different ways you can read the pattern itself. The first side of this has it just all kind of condensed. You got your first 6 rows are your garter stitch, 1 row's knit, 1 row's purl, one, you know, back and forth. Now row 7 through 16 right here, those you repeat those you repeat 8 times. Then you will have, you know, you'll work till you get to row 94, then row 95 through 100, you go back to your garter stitch. You can print out this version if you would like. It has all that's the same. The difference here is the row numbers are here to where you can actually check them off as you go. The chart up here, to read the chart, it is read from top to bottom, and you do your cast on. At the end of your cast on, your working yarn will be coming from peg 47. So row 1 starts with peg 47. That's where the yarn will be coming from. So that whole row you will knit. And in row 2, working yarn's coming from peg 1. And the dots mean purl. So that row you will purl all the stitches. And then you will knit. And it goes down like that. These circles right here, those are bobble stitches, which I will show you how to do those. This section right here that's highlighted, that is your repeat. So if you want to just follow by the chart, this is the area that you'll be repeating 8 times. Show you guys how to read this right here. Alright, so for, we'll just say row 7, you'll do a knit stitch. Row 8, your working yarn will be coming from peg 1. You got the little arrow there. How this is read is you purl 5 stitches, knit 1 stitch. The area that's in parentheses just gets repeated over and over. So you have a bobble stitch, and then you will knit 7. And you repeat that until you get to the last 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches. You'll have a bobble, and then you'll knit 1, purl 5, knit 1. So I'll hold it like this and you can kind of follow along. So we'll say row 8, you purl 5, knit 1, bobble, knit 7, bobble, knit 7, bobble, knit 7, bobble, knit 7. There's not enough for another repeat, so you just do a bobble, knit 1, purl 5, and then your last peg of every row is a knit stitch. It's technically a wrap and turn. You want to have peg 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40 marked on your loom. I'll show you. Here's my peg 1, and then I've got peg 8, 16, 24, 32, and 40 right here marked. Peg 46 and 47 are also marked, peg 1 and peg 7. But that is to separate out your garter stitch edging here. These rows right here marked, just so you do not get the rows your bobbles are on in the wrong place. Well, let's go ahead and cast on. We are doing a chain cast on. Our first 6 rows are garter stitch, and then after that, row 7 to row 94 is a repeat of row 7 through 16 right here. The official printout one for you guys will have this highlighted to help keep track of that a little better. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver yarn in burgundy. It is a number 4 worsted weight yarn. How many yards is this one? I know I've just passed it like 4 times. 364 yards. I'm doing a chain cast on. We are casting on 47 pegs. I've already got those marked. Slip knot. You want to take the working yarn behind that slip knot around your first peg. Pull the working yarn through. I'm holding this just to keep it tight. So you tighten that up. And this little tail I put in the back, or it's just going to get in the way. I've got a new loop here. Put both of those strands behind peg 2, working yarn through, and pull it tight. And each time you're making a new loop, you put the whole loop behind that next peg. What this does is it gives you 2 strands on the back and 1 on the front. All cast on. Let's get going with this. Okay, right now our working yarn is on peg 47. Of course, this chart doesn't have it listed. The one you guys get will. There's an arrow here showing that that's where the working yarn is and that we're going in that direction, so you know you're going to read the chart from this direction over. This whole row is just knit stitch. I like to use the U-stitch instead of the true knit stitch. There is a true knit stitch, a U-stitch, and a flat stitch. All of these are the same stitch. The only difference is the tension used in them, and the true knit stitch looks a lot more complicated, but I will show you what each of those are real quick, and then you use whatever you choose. Okay, so first I mentioned the flat stitch. The flat stitch is holding the working yarn over top the stitch on the peg and just knitting over. Your tension is pretty tight. It's a flat stitch. The yarn isn't being wrapped around or anything like that. So I'll show you again. So your flat stitch is over. I don't use flat stitch hardly ever because I knit tight anyway, so my tension tends to be way too tight when I use it. Now for my preference, the U-stitch, it's the same as that flat stitch, but you're wrapping the yarn around the back like a U. And I'll show you those, a couple of those. That gives a lot more yarn. You can see how this right here is already tight. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but this, there's really not much give, but there's already more give there. The true knit stitch is going to give you the best stretch, the best consistency, but I personally have trouble when I'm doing a project that has the true knit and a purl stitch. I want to get them backwards. So your purl stitch is the working yarn, is your loom tool goes down through the top of the stitch. The true knit stitch, your loom tool goes up through the bottom of the stitch on the peg, and you pull down and pull down. You've created a new stitch. Take the old one off, put the new one on. I'll show you that one more time. Up through the bottom, working yarn up, working yarn down. You created a new stitch, kick off the old one, tighten that up. Like I said, I'm using the U-stitch. Work to your last peg. The last peg of every row, I have wrote that it's a knit stitch, but instead of going around the front, it's a wrap and turn. Instead of going around the front to the back, you go around the back to the front. I'll show you the reasoning behind this. Neither one's wrong, but if you go around the back to the front, this strand doesn't cross and you get a more symmetrical edging. Now our working yarn is already on peg 1. We just finished our first row here, right there. So I'm gonna mark it down here that I've got that done. Now row 2, same purl stitch. Working yarn's coming from peg 1. purl every peg. Last peg, it says knit, but it's that wrap and turn. Like I said, working yarn's coming from peg 1, so we are skipping this peg. If we re-wrap that peg, it will give us kind of a knot on the edge here, and we really want just a real smooth edging on all of these squares so that when we join them, it's going to be much easier to join them. Okay. Purl stitch. I showed you the true knit stitch where working yarn is brought down through. The purl stitch is the opposite. Loom tool down through the top of the stitch, pull that working yarn up through. You've made a new stitch. Pop the old off, put the new one on. You want to work up your first 7 rows of this garter stitch. When you get to row 8, I will show you how to do the bobbles. I went ahead and worked to my last set of bobbles. Alright, so right now I'm on this row right here. So that means my working yarn should be at peg 1. If you look down here at all this mess, I marked off my rows as I went. I'm at row 92. And see, that matches up. So we do purl 5, knit 1, and then we get into the bobble repeat. The bobble is created by E-wrapping the peg multiple times, and then you will pick the first stitch up and put back on there. I started out my first 3, I wrapped the peg 4 times and it gave a bigger bobble. But really for this design, I think I liked the smaller bobbles. So that is an option. You can do bigger bobbles if you would like. But what we do is our working yarn is coming from this peg. Our bobble peg, we're going to E-wrap 1 time. E-wrap a 2nd time. E-wrap a 3rd time. I typically work the entire row and then pull the stitch up, but I'll go ahead and show you. When you first start out, the first couple sets, it can be a little harder to really see because you can't really pull down the fabric until you get, enough of it made. But if you pull this down, you're going to see a bar. Pick that bar up. You want to pick up that first bar because there's 1 stitch, 2 stitch, and that's our normal stitch. Our original stitch, sorry. You want to pick that up, put it on the peg, and then knit over, bottom loop over the top. But you want to get all the strands, so let's do that again. Bottom loop over the top. Then you're going to knit 7 and bobble again. We're at our 2nd bobble. Again, we're going to E-wrap and knit over 3 stitches on the 1 peg. From here, I'm going to work out the whole row and then I'll pull those stitches up and knit them over. But I did want to show you something. I had tried just pulling that extra stitch up and leaving 2 stitches on the peg. And then when I came back, I just worked the 2 stitches as 1. If you do that, you're more likely to get like these extra loops I found. Let me find a good one. Here's a decent one you can see. When I stopped doing that, I'm not getting those extra loops. So that stitch you pull up, if you don't knit that over, it may create kind of like this elongated, I can show you. It may create this elongated stitch here that can be a little frustrating to try to tighten up and get looking like the rest. Guys, this is all you need to know. You want to work up your project. Once you get to row 94, You go right up here to row 95 and you work those, you know, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Come back, I'll show you how to do your super stretchy bind off. Super stretchy bind off time. Take your working yarn, wrap it around your loom 2.5 to 3 times. Where am I? The super stretchy bind off is basically 2 steps that you repeat until you are at your last peg. Working yarn is coming from this peg. We do want to make sure we lock that one in. I'll show you what happens if you don't. If you forget to bring the yarn through this peg, you're going to end up with a loose stitch here. And see, that all can come undone. So this, I'm going to have to tack in and fix. Working yarn is coming from, we'll just call this peg 1. You want to take your working yarn and pull down through the top of the stitch on peg 2. Go back and pull it up through the stitch on peg 1. That just gets that locked in there. So wait. What you do for the rest is working yarn is coming from peg 1. You skip a peg, skip peg 2, working yarn down through the top of the stitch on peg 3. Then you go back 1, because see how this loop here is? We're going to take care of that too. So you go back 1 and pull the yarn up through. Those are your 2 steps. Step 1, skip 1 peg, working yarn down through the stitch on the peg. Then you're going back 1 peg, working yarn up through the stitch on the peg. So skip down, back up. That's what I say in my head. So you're going to skip 1, then you're going to back up. There we go. Skip 1 down. And of course, there we go. And then we got to back 1 up. Go ahead and do that till you get to the last peg. Once you have the yarn through that last peg, it's locked in and you just take it off the loom. It's off the loom. It looks a little wonky. So once it's off the loom, you're going to want to stretch it out. Just kind of stretch it in every way. That's going to kind of help with the tension if your tension's off on any of the stitches. Which I will wash and block. And when you block, you pin down. Basically what you do is you wash your block and then lay it flat to dry, but you shape it. You make the edges straight, and then as it dries, it will hold that shape. You can do this with like blankets and stuff where the edges want to curl. That really helps. Oh, this is a fun square. I like this one. I do like the smaller bobbles. I think they look better. But you can, of course, do the wrap 4 bobbles. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Questions, comments, please leave in the comment section below. My email is in the description below if you would like to contact me directly. Thank you so much for watching this. Please make sure that you like, share, subscribe, follow, turn on notifications, you know, all those things. That really, really helps my channel grow. Everybody have a wonderful day.